I am here today to share with you a really fun tutorial on how to make scrunchies, but not just basic scrunchies. I'm going to teach you to make all the little accessories that go on the scrunchies. So if you have been wanting to try this and get confused by the tube situation, I'm here for you today. So I'm going to teach you how to amp up your scrunchie game. But before you start, you're going to need to go to my blog at pincutsewstudio.com to get the pattern that I made you. And I'm going to put the link to that in the notes below. So make sure you go get that, and that has all the measurements for future reference for you. Otherwise, you're going to need fabrics, scissors, you're going to need a safety pin or a turning tool if you have one, and scissors, a rotary cutter and mat if you have them, otherwise printer paper to make your patterns, and elastic. I have 1/8 inch braided elastic, but any size will do. I've made it with all kinds. Let's see, so I'm going to teach you how to make a basic scrunchie. I'm going to teach you how to make the tie knot. I'm going to show you how to make the skinny tie-on bow and a scarf for your scrunchie of 2 sizes, small and large. This is the small one, but you can make a bigger one too. Make sure to subscribe to the channel to get more tutorials, and be sure to visit the blog to get your pattern. Other than that, let's get started. Okay, we're gonna get started with just the basic scrunchie, like this. So you can see on this pattern, if you went to my website and downloaded it, pincutsewstudio.com. I'll put the link down in the description, of course. So for a basic scrunchie, we're gonna cut 2 pieces, 22 inches by 3.5 inches. So if you have a handy rotary cutter and mat like me, you can use that. If not, the easiest way I find to make patterns is to just use plain old printer paper and a ruler. But I will put links to these tools in the description also, because they are so handy. So to use this, the first thing I'm gonna do is create a straight edge on one side. So let's see, fold it up like so. I want to get all this fuzz off, see that? I'm gonna go straight up. Then my width is 3.5 inches, so I need a new blade. I'm gonna count on my ruler. You can see how old my poor ruler is. 3.5 inches, and I'm gonna cut that width. So now it's way too long, of course. So I'm gonna cut it 22 inches, and my mat here has inches on it, but you can't really see that. So let's see, let's fold it over. I want 22 inches, so I'm gonna cut at the 11 mark. See, I have a fold over here, which is here. There are better ways to do this, but since you can't see my whole mat on the video, we're doing it this way. So now I'm lining this line up along here so I make a straight cut. Okay, so now I have my piece, 22 by 3.5. So the first thing we're gonna do, there are a couple of methods people use to make scrunchies, but this I feel like is the least fussy. Both of them will have some visible top stitching on the outside, but that's okay, and it doesn't show once it's gathered up really, especially if you put accessories. Okay, so we're gonna sew this long ways, but we're gonna start about 1 inch or so, a little over 1 inch from each end, from that end, and we're gonna stop a little over 1 inch from this end. Okay, so you're gonna back stitch, use a 1/4 inch seam, go all the way down and back stitch at this other end. So I'm gonna go do that real quick. Okay, so you can see I left my ends open and I sewed the length of it. So next thing you need is a safety pin. You're gonna attach it to this end. Let's see, I'm gonna go this way. And you're gonna turn your tube, but not all the way. You're gonna turn your tube so this end meets this end, like this. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna sneeze. You sort of bunch it up, hold it with your left hand, and work it through with your right. It takes a little practice if you haven't done this before, but you can do it. Okay, so I don't want to pull it all the way right side out because I'm going to stitch these ends together now. So here I am. This is probably the fussiest little bit. I'm going to remove my safety pin, and my ends are matched up. So you're going to go put this under your sewing machine, start here, and sort of straighten it out as you sew and stop here. Back stitch at both ends. Okay, I stitched that. So now I'm going to turn it right side out through the hole that I left. Now you have a tube sewn into a ring. So this is what you have now. Okay, next you need to find your elastic. I need to find mine. So I'm going to use my ruler here, find an end. So if you make one and find that 7 inches is too loose or too tight, you just add an inch or subtract an inch or whatever. Okay, need our safety pin again. You're going to attach your safety pin to one side of your elastic, and you're going to insert this all the way around. So I'm shoving it through with my right hand while holding the safety pin in my left. So I don't want to lose my end, see? So I'm just going to grab a clip. These clips are super handy. They're called Wonder Clips. I'll link to them too, so I don't lose it in my hole. And now it's going to start together up on itself. And there's my other end. So I'm going to undo my safety pin. I'm going to undo my clip. Pull these out a little bit more. I'm going to lap the ends together like this. It might be a little tricky for you to sew this, but you can do it. And you want it pretty secure. So I like to go this direction. 4 stitches there, 4 stitches back, 4 stitches there, at least. It's hard even to get the pin in. Okay, so I'm gonna go put this under my machine like this. Okay, I secured my elastic. If for some reason your machine really hates the elastic, just make your elastic longer and tie a real good knot. So now I can let it get sucked in there. Now all we have to do is close the hole. So you're gonna fold this under, press them with your fingers, like so, as if you had sewn them, and stick a pin in there. I'm gonna go edge stitch. That means about 1/8 inch from the edge, from where my opening starts to where my opening ends. All right, I sewed my opening close, and see, since I used matching thread, you can barely even see that, especially once it's scrunchied out. If you don't have matching thread and you can't get any, then maybe you could just top stitch all the way around so that it would contrast and look cute, and it would look like you did it on purpose. Okay, so there's your basic scrunchie. So you can see on the pattern I included instructions for this skinny scrunchie too. Isn't that cute? So your elastic is a little shorter and your piece is a little smaller. So there's instructions for that, and you would sew that together the exact same way. So next we're gonna make the tie knot. And I already have a pattern cut out. I want it to go on here so it's contrasting, super cute. Wait, I think I'm gonna put pretty side to pretty side, so they'll already be right sides together when I cut it out. Okay, here's my pattern piece. Pin it on, cut it out. Scissors or a rotary cutter, your choice. Oops, I snipped my pattern. Okay, unpin. Now we're gonna go sew this together, but I'm gonna leave an opening for turning. So I'm gonna leave about 1.5 inches open right here. I'm gonna start here, go all the way around, stop here, and backstitch. Okay, so I sewed mine together. I'm gonna trim a little bit, especially the corners, so they'll come out nice and neat, not too close. The rest should be fine. With these inside curves, I'm gonna snip too. maybe just on this sides of the opening. Okay, so now I'm gonna turn it right side out. Okay, I'm gonna go iron this flat, and then I'm going to also fold this under as I iron. And then I'm gonna edge stitch it closed, just like I did my scrunchie, but I'm gonna switch to black thread. All right, so here's my finished tie knot. I top stitched it, but you can barely see because it's black. Okay, where's that scrunchie I just made? Oh, here it is. Okay, so I like to tie my accessories on right where I top stitched to help hide the visible stitching. And just tie it right on there. You only have to tie it once, you don't need to double knot it. Somehow they always stay. Super cute! All right, next up, we're going to learn how to make this skinny strip. So I already cut a strip. This is right here for small tie-on scarf. Oh no, that's not right. For skinny tie-on bow, cut one piece 22 inches by 1 1/4. So for this one, we're gonna sew the whole length of it. We're gonna actually sew the ends closed too. So it's gonna go over and all the way down. Only an 1/8 inch seam, but right in the center, we're gonna leave an opening. So I kind of find where my center is by folding it in half. And I'm just gonna put a couple of pins where I want to stop. You could, of course, leave your ends open and turn it out that way, and then you could just knot the ends. It's up to you, but I want the closed ends on mine. So I'm gonna sew this short end, long side, stop, long side, short end, stop. Okay. Now I have, see my short ends are sewn. I have my hole in the center. And I'm going to turn this right side out. So I have this fancy tool. Well, it's not fancy. It's extremely simple, but very handy. So I'm gonna link to this. It's called a fast turn, and I'm gonna link to this in the notes below. If you sew, you will use it constantly. But if you don't have one of those, you're gonna need to use the old safety pin method. So you'll need a smaller one than this, attach it to this end, and work it through until it comes out the center. Okay? But I have a handy tool. This size will fit. Basically, you insert this tube into your tube. Then this piece has a little coil on the end. So I'm going to stick it in my tube. I'm going to twist it. Oops, I forgot to snip my corner. Oops. Okay, it's twisted into my fabric. And now I'm going to pull it through my tube. And it's going to come out this end. Okay, now I can untwist it and take this off. Now I need to do the other side. If you just have one long tube, obviously you would just bring it all the way through the tube. I like to double this over at the top so it holds better. I'm going to twist it on. Oops, again, I forgot to clip my corner. No big deal if you forget, but it does look neater. Okay, helping it through. Untwist it. Put it back in my spaghetti jar. Again, I'll link to that handy tool. But if you don't have it, try the safety pin, and if you absolutely cannot get that to work, I've shown you on this tiny scrap how else you can do it without having to turn a tube at all. So what you'll do is just fold in the ends, iron them, and then fold it in half like so, and just simply top stitch it along this edge, pretty close to the edge. So that's another option too. But for now, I'm gonna go iron this, and then just like on the others, I'm gonna edge stitch my hole shut. Okay, it's nice and flat, and now I can tie it on. Take this off first. So if you have 3 or 4 different coordinating fabrics and you make all the scrunchies and all the accessories, you'll have lots of mix and match options. Okay, I'm just gonna tie this in a bow. That is cute. This looks real cute around a bun with the bow at the top. Okay, the last thing we have left is the scarf scrunchie. So the scarves are so cool because they can be tied in a bow, they can be tied around the hair, they can be tied all kinds of ways. And basically it's just a square. Here, I'll show you. It's just a square hemmed and folded in a certain way. So this is the small one. See how it's folded into the center and just tied on this way. I'm gonna show you, I already made this scrunchie. I'm gonna show you how to make a big scarf out of this. So for the large scarf, you're gonna want a 24-inch square. That small one is just a 12-inch square. Let me clear some space. Okay, I have cut my square. I actually didn't have enough quite to cut 24, so I cut 23. It's totally flexible. So I like these flowier fabrics. This is a rayon for the scarves, but they'll work in anything, of course. They are, however, a little trickier to hem because they're so shifty. So I'm gonna go press all my hems. I'm gonna press it under once. I'm gonna press it under twice. And then I'm gonna sew them all. So when you get to a corner, you're gonna press it in toward the center. This side will be pressed, and this side will be pressed twice. It is not going to look perfect, but that's okay. All right, I'm done. So my corners look pretty good. Not bad at all. So to fold this and tie it on your scrunchie, you're gonna fold the corners into the center, two opposite corners that is, like this. And then you're gonna do that again. And one more time. And then fold them together. And then you can just tie this on. Now you have a big tie knot scarf scrunchie. I think that's so pretty. Okay, I have one more bonus idea for you. So if you have any lace or trim or rickrack like this, I have some ball fringe. I'm going to show you how to add that to the outside of your scrunchie. I mean the outside edge. Okay, so I'm going to use this fabric and this lace. So let me cut out my scrunchie. Okay, here's my scrunchie piece, 22 by 3.5. So before I sew my long ends together, I'm going to put my trim on. Now instinct would tell you to put it this way, but we're actually going to put it this way with the side you want showing facing the middle of your scrunchie because it's going to be turned out like this. See? Okay, so I'm gonna go sew this on using a basting stitch. And I'm gonna sew it so that right where my stitches go is right where the end of my lace is. Okay, so I basted my lace on and now I'm going to go ahead and fold it and finish the scrunchie like I did before. So I'm gonna go sew the long edge together. I should mention, if you sew it from this side, you can see where your basting stitches are and you want to try to sew right over your stitches so you'll know that your lace will be placed exactly right. It's so cute. If you are a candy striper, this is your scrunchie. So if you liked this video, be sure and subscribe to the Pin Cut Sew YouTube channel, and if you make some scrunchies or use any of my other videos, be sure and show me what you made. Either find me on my blog, pincutsewstudio.com, or on Instagram at pincutsew. I would absolutely love to see what you made. So cheers and happy sewing.